What's up, everybody? I'm George MOSSEY. I'm here with my co-host Marshana Dahlia for Vinto 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After, Season 6, Episode number 8. This is Part 2. We're here to talk about the most compelling drama from last night. So we're going to jump right in because there's a lot of dragging to be done. So let's talk about Mike and Natalie. So 1 week after the trip from Oklahoma, the only thing that has changed between Mike and Natalie is there is a live rat crawling on their kitchen table. Everything else is the same.
Let's just start with get that. If she don't get that rat off the dining table, and this is how I know that Mike must love this woman on some way, shape, or form. There is some love there because there is no way. Like there were parts of the scene I had to look away from because her hair was down, and then I could see like the rat's tail, like and crawling on her shoulder, and then it was like by the toaster and stuff. So it's just gross. It's unhygienic. I don't care that you're petting this rat. I don't care that you saved it from becoming a snake's dinner. Like. It's so gross and unhygienic to have this. Anyway, it was very difficult scene to watch because of that. Now, if I could look past the rat for just a moment, I could get to how uncomfortable it is to just watch Natalie and Mike be in the same room. Like, they hate and loathe each other. I don't know how this marriage has survived. I don't even know how they got married in the first place. But here we are. Natalie is nasty. She's nasty. I will not step over my morals. I think you do step over your morals. I think you do, because the way you talk to other people, that's got to be in some violation of all these high standard morals that you say you have, right? The way you treat people, the way you don't listen to them, the way, like, talking to her is impossible. Like, she doesn't listen. She doesn't receive. She's, I don't know. I'm going to actually pop some bottles when they get divorced because it's coming. And I have not looked ahead at any spoilers. If you comment on this video, don't give us any spoilers. This is just my genuine prediction because the writing's on the wall. This doesn't last.
There's no possible way. There's no possible way. So let's just talk about the hooker situation. Do you think Trish called Natalie a hooker to her face?
No, she did not call Natalie a hooker.
I don't believe she did either. I honestly don't. And Mike says that he feels like it's some sort of misunderstanding. And he said a lot of times when Natalie has something in her mind that she believes happened, it's usually some sort of misunderstanding. She heard one thing, took it literally, and decided that someone did or said something to her specifically.
I think she said you're a good cooker because she was cooking. I think that might have been it. Because she was making her traditional meal. I think that might have been it.
Right. There's no way. Don't get me wrong. I do not believe that Trish is a saint. I do believe that Trish was taking jabs at her all week while they were there, and I do believe that Trish hates her. But I do not believe that Trish called her a hooker, and I need video proof. I need audio proof. I need something to prove that.
Trish has just reason not to like her. If any of us have seen the way that this woman has treated her son, Mike, yeah, I wish a girl would come into my son's life and treat my Luciano that way. I wouldn't like her either, and I would be justified.
Absolutely. All right, let's talk about Angela. So we got a huge dose of Angela last night, and so did an IT specialist at a phone company who got a huge dose of Angela, and he said it was one of the most interesting days that he has ever spent at work, which I think anyone who has encountered Angela would say the same thing. So she's back to smoking a pack a day, which she has managed to blame on Michael, even though she started smoking at 13. She said, oh, well, Michael's trigger. I wouldn't be smoking if it wasn't for Michael. BS. Michael is like thousands of miles away. There's no possible way he can force a cigarette in your mouth and then a lighter to it. It's not possible, Angela.
Well, I mean, I think Angela's malignant narcissism, her narcissistic personality disorder narcissism, her histrionic personality disorder is on full display here. Full display. Angela is a vile, disgusting, nasty, evil woman. It was all laid out. You really know somebody when they're upset with you, specifically in a relationship. You really get to know who you're with when they are not just upset at the world, but upset with you, disappointed in you. And the way that they speak to you and treat you in those moments is you can, I'll tell you everything about your entire relationship just based on that. And she's a controlling, manipulative asshole. And I thought really long and hard about using that word, but it needs to be said. She has earned it fair and square. I don't like bullying or like just trashing people online. And, people will say that we don't know Angela, reality TV shows and editing. And that's true. I've done 3 reality TV shows myself on 3 major networks. I myself have been on a show on TLC. I can see through what the producers induce and what is genuine. And genuinely, she is a really vile, nasty, manipulative, and controlling person who likes to have people bow down and worship her. And I hope that Mike becomes free of this woman. I like that he hasn't been responsive. I mean, there was a point where even the tech guy said, like, all he did was say hello. And the way she just went in, I don't want to see any more of Angela. I really feel like she's abusive. And again, people will think that it's not abusive because she's not hauling off and hitting him, or maybe because she's the woman and he's the man. But the fact that TLC is even allowing this level of abuse to be shown on Sunday nights is beyond me. I don't think she should be allowed to participate in the program. With the level that I saw yesterday, it's abusive. And it was actually uncomfortable to watch.
It was super uncomfortable. And to prove what you're saying, she felt that it was her right to spy on her husband because it's her husband, and it's her legal right to know what he's doing without him knowing. And even being told it's illegal, she said, well, I would just pay you more. That just shows you the level of narcissism going on in this situation. The law doesn't apply to her because she's Angela. We're gonna leave it right there, Angela. So let's talk about Olivia and Andre. So it's a family affair. We are in an RV with, of all people, Andre is the only one in the situation that has a license to drive it. How in the hell did that happen?
Well, okay, with his truck driving, I assume that he has a CDL license, but hold on, wait a minute. It was the one thing that he was finally going to be able to do and able to contribute to the family. Okay, at least for once, he's going to be good for something, and he couldn't even do it. He was missing turns, blaming other people. He was backing into signs, even though people were like, hey. Like, he's just so, I don't understand. And I also don't understand this part of the Twitterverse that every Sunday night when I go to live tweet the show, there are people who, literally post about Libby's family and say, oh, if Ungrateful were a family. Really? I'm sorry. I just don't see them as ungrateful. I don't see them. I think that she comes from a good family. I think Libby is the rotten apple, is the spoiled rotten apple, thanks to her father. And I think that Libby is the one who has invited this pestilence and cancer into their family. And now they live like this. I'm sure before Libby went and dragged Andre into this, she was the spoiled brat, but the family as unit as a whole wasn't in this level of turmoil. Another narcissist. Okay? Andre, another narcissist. And Libby has complete histrionic personality disorder as well, because she even said at one point, I was it this episode or last episode, that she doesn't feel any responsibility for the fight that happened between her and Becky. And it's like, yeah. You know what? You and Andre are made for each other. I used to feel like she was in an abusive relationship, and maybe some days she is, because Andre can be very abusive, but no, they are in cahoots. They do their abusing together. And all I'm looking forward to is the fight next week, because I do think that that's a solution to this problem. And I don't support violence or things coming to fisticuffs. But I think one backhand from Charlie might straighten this all out.
I agree. I feel, okay, again, I don't endorse violence or condone violence, but I do know when I was in school, me and my best friend fist fought each other. We were fighting for a while, and we fist fought each other, and then we were best friends for the rest of our lives. So I do know that when you need to solve a situation that you can't seem to solve with words, sometimes, every now and then, a nice punch does put things in perspective. Again, I'm not condoning it. I don't want anyone to be hurt. But based on the tape, it's already happened. I'm just talking about something that already took place.
It already happened.
Right. I'm not saying I wanted it to happen. It already did. And I just feel that Chuck is enabling Andre in the situation. He is enabling Andre to cause turmoil in his family. And his fears on last night's preview for last week, I didn't see no wetness from the eyes. That's fake. You sicked him on your family. And now you're upset that your family is fighting because you put him in that situation to cause turmoil.
And I hate the fact that he's going along with this idea that, yeah, you and I will work together, Andre, because you can't get along with my family. No, you need to put Andre in his place and say, you will get along with my children. I have had a family business with my children for a very long time. I am not going to split off and funnel money into you and your lifestyle with my daughter to keep you from going back to Moldova or whatever else. That is not my responsibility. You either fold and blend into this family business or not at all. But the fact that he would even say out of his mouth, like, I don't want to talk business because I don't want my kids to hear and get upset, it feeds into Andre. And Andre even said it last night, like, oh, these kids, when they get involved, they talk to Chuck and then they turn him against me and then they listen to his children. And you want this man to not listen to his own children, the children that have been his child for decades. No, 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 no. I love Becky. Becky is the one, right? I love her because she was like, see, no, I'm hearing you and I'm calling this out. This is the problem. And the very fact that you would even say it lets me know that you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. And it's not okay. This dude just shows up yesterday and you're not going to give him equal footing as us, your children, who have been with you, working with you. No. So I love Becky's energy and I love Charlie's energy. And I know y'all come at me every single Sunday in my tweets and y'all say Charlie's a criminal and Chuck this and Chuck. I don't care.
Who cares? When you write, you write. I don't care where you came from. I don't care what you did. When you write, I agree.
You right.
Because you write. I don't care what Charlie did. I don't care what Chuck did. I don't care what Becky did. When they are speaking the truth, I am listening.
And the truth needs to be told about Andre. He is a cancer. And Libby allows it. And even last night, she's sitting there and she's just like, hey, guys, I don't have to talk about this right now. Because she doesn't care if Andre gets all the money and betters her life with her husband. She doesn't care.
Her pocket. Yeah. That's, in fact, I believe that's the goal. That's what I
That is the goal.
The goal.
Like I think it was Jen who said it in an interview last night. Like Andre's idea is to climb the ladder within the family business and push everyone else off on the way up. And Chuck is allowing that to happen by even saying, you and I will just work together and then them. And I just think that is so unfair. And he's destroying his own family by trying to, I don't know be nice. But you're being stupid and you're being foolhardy and you are ruining your own family. And now you want to cry about it like you're the victim. You are the orchestrator of this mess. Because if you had gathered Libby years ago and gotten her together, then none of this would happen. So again, I'm going to bring this all back to Chuck and his inability to lead. He is a weak man and a weak leader. Libby knows it and exploits it. And now Andre does as well. And they are a good team, Andre and Libby. At really milking Chuck for all he's got.
I agree. And on that note, that's it, guys. That's it for part 2. I cannot wait. Like we already said, next week there will be a poolside fight. And I am all for, again, we are not condoning violence. I don't want anyone to misinterpret that. But this was already filmed. It already happened. And we are ready to see the outcome. We are not
ready.
And I can't wait. And thank you guys so much for joining us for part 2, 9 Fiance Happily Ever After the podcast. I'm George MOSSEY. This is my co-host, Marshana Dahlia Spavento. I'll put our Twitters and Instagrams at the bottom. Make sure you live tweet with us every week. We love to talk about it. We want to hear your opinions. And more than likely, you won't agree with us, but we are very cool about it. And we will keep holding our ground. Again, guys, thank you so much. And we'll see you guys real soon.